So, welcome to Winning Ways Extra. Obviously you've seen the sea fishing video, but part of the thing with a brand new channel is it gives us an opportunity to not only show different types of fishing, but also do a few of these kind of quick in-session pieces on our own. So I'll be doing a bit, we've ordered a GoPro for Jamie and Andy so they can go out and doing a bit of filming on their own. Don't exactly know what that's going to be like, but basically it just gives us a chance to sort of document the sort of fishing we're doing outside of the match fishing side of things. So it seemed the perfect opportunity to come down to the river and do a bit of chub fishing, because during lockdown, or lockdown 2.0, where we've not been able to actually fish matches, this is one of the things that I've been kind of coming and doing. It fits in nicely doing it around editing. You get the odd hour here and there so you can nip out. So the river we're on today is a River Dove, which ultimately feeds into the Trent. So we're on quite an interesting bit at the moment. It's sort of the in-between of it being a coursey river and a trouty river. So there's a lot of, or decent numbers of decent brown trout, which is probably the main reason I got the ticket in the first place, but there's also some big chub in here. There's not massive numbers. It's not the sort of place you're going to come down, feed maggots and catch from one swim all day. You're basically going to be roving around, trying to get one bite out of swim. If you can get 2 or 3 fish in a day, you've done pretty well. But from the last couple of sessions, we've been coming down, and when you do get those bites, they're fish that are worth catching. So I think last time I came down, I had one £5.5. That was probably the second trot of the day and the first swim of the day. So yeah, when they come, it's well worth catching. Because you're moving around swim so much, you just want to keep things really, really simple. You're not really trying to get groups of fish competing, so we're going down the route of trotted breadflake, proper like old school John Wilson-y style. So we've got a big Drennan loafer float, bulks a shot, and you just want to get the bait down as quick as possible into the depth where the fish are going to be. So basically the key seems to be is just picking swims that look chubby. It sounds a bit obvious to say, but your big overhanging bushes, any snags, anything like that, they're going to hold fish, and those are the places you want to be fishing. Your open water, you do get odd bites in the kind of deeper slacks, but generally if you're going to catch fish, you're going to catch them relatively quickly on kind of your first 10 drops for a swim. So it's all about keeping mobile, feeding a little bit of mash bread just to sort of get their interest up. So we've already fed a couple of balls into this peg before we started doing this piece to camera, so I think it's probably about time to have a quick run through and see if we can nick an early fish. So, gear wise, dead simple. Bulk shot, that's a size 10 on there, and we're just going to put a big old lump of flake on there. So as you can probably see, you've got sort of nice overhanging bushes. You've got a bit of depth around here as well, which is important. You don't want the real fast pegs, but sort of like big lump of flake on there, and just pinch it around the shank of the hook. Basically, you want to leave that hook point exposed enough so you can actually hook them, but you want it not too, where are we? Trying to untangle it around the tip. But you want it not pinched on that hard that it comes back. So basically, once you reach the end of the run, you want to give it a nice steady strike, and then that should ping off, and you're sort of baiting the peg as you do it. So I've already fed a bit of mash bread, but just flick him out, see what that's like. I've not checked the shotting on this yet or anything. Yeah, it needs about another 18 SSGs on that. Oh, damn. Yeah, bread selection is a bit of a strange one. Obviously, if you're dobbing actually in matches, you can't beat the Warburton's Orange Toasty. Just stays on like glue, but when you come to this, you notice, because it is so sticky, you're often coming back with it on the hook, which isn't what you want. It just goes all dead gloopy. You're almost better off with the real cheap stuff, so it's enough that you get one cast out of it. And yeah, if you try and do mashed bread with that Warburton's Toaster, you just end up with a kind of bucket of glue, which isn't really any good for anything. Your mashed bread, you want it to sort of break up, so there's lots of particles in the water just drifting down, just to sort of give them give them the idea that there's a bit of food about, get them searching, and then your big lump of bread flake is the first thing they see. So we'll deepen him up a bit. Because this is a one where on that first session down we had one about £5, and it's a bit of a random peg, because where we actually caught them was just proper deep steady mid water. Yeah, you can just see that the way that float's going, it's just tripping bottom, which isn't a bad thing. You've got sort of because your bread's a bit buoyant, that's going to be sort of wafting behind it. So as long as it's not getting dragged under constantly, you can get away with that. And it just seems to deepen off a bit where it is now. That's the only problem with this, you get covered in bloody mashed bread. So when it dries, it's bloody horrible to get off. Your hands go all like an old man, or where you used to play with PVA glue, but you can't peel it off at the end. But you've got quite a bit. It feels like it should be more coloured than it is, but the dove seems to kind of lose colour fairly quickly. It's got a fair bit of water on it, but you've still got plenty of visibility, so your bread will work. It is quite one of those that more of a visual bait that's going to catch their eye as it goes past. So if it's really coloured, it's probably not the one. You're probably better off with a lump of cheese paste or something like that. But that's probably one of the hardest things on this, that the fishing's not technically that difficult. It's just sort of like keeping your motivation, covering lots of water, because you are just fishing for 1 or 2 bites. There's not really the backup fish in the river. It's not like you're going to be catching loads of roach, little chublets, and there's the odd grayling, but you don't tend to catch them on bread. But it's just sort of like keeping your head about you, keeping motivated and on the move, and eventually you've got to hope that you'll come across one. Like to be fair, you probably catch as many, if not more, like ledgering and leaving it a bit static, just giving it 15 minutes in one spot. But it's a nice way of fishing, and it's good for covering a bit of water, and it's still a relatively new stretch for me, so you can sort of find out the sort of likely looking areas. So later in the winter, when they're not quite so active, you can kind of come back and target those. So you just building up a picture of the river, you get an idea on depths, which is all important information. And as it's only sort of 10-15 minutes from my house, it's one that we'll probably be doing a little bit more on over the coming months. Ooh, there we go. Ooh, yeah. Powerful fish. Bent into wind. Is pretty much hooked right on the snags as well, which isn't ideal. Where are we? Just try and bully them a bit. It's hard to tell how big they actually are. Got some lines. I think it'll be out of them snags. But where are we? You never know, because it's deep, powerful water. You're never quite sure where they are, and it's quite deep under your feet as well. So I think it's coming. Try and get our net somewhere in position. How big is he going to be? Big head shake, it's got to be a chub. Gotta be. How big are we? Not massive. But you can see how deep it is. That floats. Trying to get under the bank. That floats at the tip, and nice chunky fish actually. Could do with a longer landing handle. Definitely do with a longer landing handle. But we've got him in. There we go. Right, there we go. Hold him out a bit to make him look bigger, but about 3.5 pound, nice little fish. Kind of proves what we were saying though, it's worth just having a few casts. That one took, what were we, 10 minutes in the peg, just running it down. But yeah, nice simple fishing. You don't need a lot of bait, a couple of loaves of bread, cheap and cheerful. So we're getting back, see if we can get one of the bigger ones. So it's a proper like chubby thing to do, isn't it? Dropping a little bit further upstream so it doesn't spook the rest of the shoal apparently. But I always feel a bit bad actually doing this. Do they actually find out where they were before? Or does he lose all his mates? Give him a moment. There we are. A few little marks on him, a bit tacky but strong little fish. Gonna go back. It's freezing. Ooh, I'm going in. Oh, yes, yes. Yes. Oh, now it's why about eating bread? Oh dear. Oh dear. I'm literally going to die getting down the bank as well, I think. Nah, we're right. Oh, hey, look at him. Bit of mountaineering. Excellent scooping. There we go. We're not keeping that for long. But look at him. For a big old brownie. Proper hook jaw and everything on him. Proper old warrior. Let's get him back. So I've had a little drive downstream. It's looking a lot more flooded here. But don't know if that's a fish or a snag. No, that might be a fish. Yeah. Don't know how big he is. I kind of didn't know if it was snagged at first. Where's he gone? Ooh. Yeah, it's literally right in that snag. He's angry. Oh, what's he? Nice chub. Similar size to last. Ooh. Ooh. Terrible netting. Oh, big fish. What's he like? He's chunky, isn't he? There we go. Just weighed him. Just under £5, kind of 4.12 I think he was, but proper chunky one. You can tell here they get a lot of barbel anglers down here, so you can tell he's one that's proper been eating the boilies. But there we go. Biggest one of the session so far. But we'll drop him. Where are we? A little bit down here. There we go. mate. So what are we on? We are on third stretch of the day, second swim. This is one of those proper tucked away little stretches. I think I found it just after during the first lockdown actually. Having a wander just around some random bits of river and seeing some big old trout. It turned up, don't know where they got in from or anything, but big old rainbow trout. That caught a few of those on flies during the summer, but did see the odd chub about in the shallower water, so got to be worth a quick go. But it's one of those that I don't think anyone really fishes it, so access can be a bit tricky at times. Oh. Don't know. I thought I was just tripping bottom. Chub. Not bad. There we go.
The average stamp today is Boston.
Oh,
Nice fish that. It's another 4, isn't it?
probably the worst swim in the world for actually finding space to do a bit of filming, but number 3, so that's what we're on, 3 different stretches, 3 chub, an angry trout, so yeah, it just goes to prove, like, these little roving sessions, you don't need a lot of bait, you kind of in and out swims. That was probably 3rd or 4th trot down, so we'll get back, but with this being a bit of a longer glide, you've got kind of a lot of rivers to draw them up from, so hopefully might get another one out of here, I reckon.